Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another tier list video. In today's video, of course, we're going to be ranking all 32 head coaches. We're not doing them 1 through 32 just because I think that's going to take a little bit longer for me to explain. But what we're going to do, obviously we already have a tier list made, so we're going to rank them S tier to D tier. That's basically what we're going to do in this video. But first, of course, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, turn that bell on as we do our best to post on this channel every single day. Really quickly, I have found a way that I can use my microphone for iPhones. I'm not doing it in this video or tomorrow's video, but Wednesday, we should have the extra piece. I've got to go out and buy the extra piece that I need to plug my microphone up with the iPhone. But other than that, our audio quality should be very, very good within these next couple of videos. So with that being said, thank you all really quickly. I want to thank you guys for the amount of support I got on Thursday's video, which was the NFL. It was like the re-ranking of every NFL season. I can't remember if that was Tuesday or Thursday, but it got almost 1,000 views and a bunch of comments and gained us a bunch of subscribers. So thank you for hitting that sub button. And as always, hit that sub button if you guys are new to the channel. Of course, we try to post every single day on this video. This is going to be a little bit of a quicker video because I got to get somewhere in about 20 minutes or so. But with that being said, let's go ahead, hop right in to NFL ranking head coaches. Alright, so we got the tier list here. S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and then of course D is the way we're going to go with these head coaches. Let's go ahead, start this video off with Cliff Kingsbury, number 1. I've got him at a C tier. I think what he can do with that Cardinals offense is very underrated and very poorly acknowledged, in my opinion. What they were able to do those last few weeks of the season when they had everybody healthy, knocking off the Eagles, they even knocked off the Cowboys in the first couple of weeks of the year without Kyler Murray. So I've got him at S tier just for that. But moving on, we got the Falcons' new head coach. This video is going to be kind of outdated just because of all the new hirings that just happened. So that's why I'm doing this. We got Raheem Morris. I'm also going to put him at C. I don't really know much about this guy. I don't know what he can do to begin with, in my opinion. So I'm going to put him at C there for this one. I think he can really run that offense really well. But for now, that's where I have him just because I don't know what else to put him at right now. Moving on, you got Jim Harbaugh, or John Harbaugh, by the way. That, I'm putting him at S tier. I mean, he is one of the best coaches to ever do it. He's coached up Lamar Jackson. We've seen him. They made the AFC Championship game this year, which they really should have won. But they were also the leader of, I believe, rushing yards and almost passing yards combined throughout the regular season. So what he's been able to do with that offense, also developing Zay Flowers into what he is, Gus Edwards utilizing him a lot. His only issue is he's not getting OBJ enough reps. But other than that, he's been a phenomenal coach for the Ravens, and they're glad to have him at that organization. Moving on to the next one, you got Cincinnati Bengals Zach Taylor. I'm going to put him at an A. I know what he did this year kind of fell off a little bit, but he was without Joe Burrow. When he's got Joe Burrow, he's on point this year. For me, that's enough to get him at least an A. And for now, once he goes and gets Joe Burrow for a couple of years being healthy, he's going to be really, really good. And the Bengals, obviously, we've seen him make the Super Bowl with Joe Burrow. So, moving on, you got Sean McDermott. I'm going to put him at A tier again. The Bills seem to be really, really good in the regular season, kind of like the Cowboys, but can't really finish the job in the playoffs. That's why I have them in an A tier and not an S tier, in my opinion. If they get to that top spot, I will move Sean McDermott up. But what he's been able to do with the offense and then the defense, really, for the Bills is what's kind of keeping them on the down low. Really doesn't help them at all that much. So I'm going to put him an A for right now. But if they continue to climb up the ladder, maybe he'll be a C. An S, rather. Moving on, you got Frank Reich / Dave Canales. I'm going to put Dave Canales at a B. I think he's going to do really well. We've seen what he can do developing the quarterbacks with Geno Smith. We saw what he did with Baker Mayfield. We obviously have seen what he's been able to do with wide receivers with DK, Tyler Lockett, Chris Evans, and Mike Godwin. So, with that being said, I'm putting him at a B. I think he's going to develop Bryce Young really, really well. I just got to see it on the field for me to believe it. So that's why I've got him kind of in the middle right now at B. But it could escalate to an A. I really love this hiring by the Carolina Panthers. Now, moving on, you got Matt Eberflus of the Chicago Bears. In my opinion, he gets a D. I don't think he's been able to develop Justin Fields the way that the Bears organization has wanted him to. So, therefore, I'm going to go with the D right there. Other than that, though, the Chicago defense has been really good. He's been able to get really good playmakers for Justin Fields, but he cannot develop them at all. That's what you got to think about when you're coaching as well. So, that's why I got a D for that. Moving on, you got Nick Sirianni of the Cleveland Browns. I'm giving him an A for this one. What he did with Baker Mayfield, number one. What he's been able to do with the Browns, of course, and Joe Flacco going to the playoffs, number two, was really, really good. Honestly, they may keep Joe Flacco, and I think they should keep Joe Flacco and get rid of Deshaun Watson, in my opinion. That's just me. But what he was able to do with them, really, without their starting quarterback, is amazing. What he was able to do with Baker was really, really well, so I'm going to give him an A for that one. Moving on, you got Mike McCarthy of the Dallas Cowboys. He gets an A as well. Obviously, the same deal with Sean McDermott. Can't really do anything in the playoffs, but in the regular season, they are really, really good, and that's where they can thrive, is in the regular season. They just can't get it done in the playoffs. Moving on, you got Sean Payton. I'm putting in a B. He digressed this year. Really, for what made me stand out for this is, of course, not starting Russell Wilson the full year. I think you should have started Russ as well. It really sounded like from the start of when they hired Sean Payton, he really did not get obviously he didn't get a good, first impression with Russell Wilson, in my opinion. So that is why he's going to be, he downgraded from when he was with New Orleans. New Orleans, he had a really good offense, and now that he's having to develop these guys with the Broncos, that kind of troubles me if you're a Denver Broncos fan. Moving on, Dan Campbell. He gets an S. Dan Campbell, obviously, took a huge leap this year. He was one of the best coaches to do it this year in football. Amazing. Lions offense was really, really good, of course. The defense, Brian Branch, drafting all those really good defensive players is what gave Dan Campbell the capabilities of being a successful head coach in the NFL. And, of course, that is what he did. So he gets an S, and they made it to the NFC Championship game. Moving on, you got Matt LaFleur. I'm going to give him a B. I think the Packers were great this year. They played really, really well with Jordan Love at the quarterback hill. They even beat the Cowboys in the regular season, or in the wild card round, but that's still not enough for me to put him at a B. I need to see more with that. Of course, he's got to develop Jordan Love some more, but other than that, he's a really, really good coach. Moving on, Doug Peterson, I'm going to put him at a C. I really don't like the guy. I don't think what he did in Jacksonville, of course, was his fault this year. He did kind of have some injuries throughout the way, but we've been able to see what he did with the Eagles, right? We saw what he took them to that Super Bowl. He's got to get Jacksonville that capability. Again, he has to bring them a championship. That is always the goal, and he did not do that successfully this year. Didn't even make the playoffs, so that is why I have him at a C for now. Moving on, Andy Reid. Probably the greatest coach to ever exist. Definitely the greatest current coach right now, but he is on his way to being a great all-time coach, in my opinion. That's why I've got him at an S right there. Moving on, Brandon Staley / Jim Harbaugh. I think Jim Harbaugh is going to be a really, really solid coach. You give him time to develop Justin Herbert. You give him time, obviously, to get some of these key players in the Chargers organization. He will be very, very good. With that being said, Brandon Staley kind of hurt it a little bit, so that's why I've got him at a B for now. I just got to see what Jim Harbaugh can do. I think he's going to be phenomenal, Chargers fans, but in the meantime, you get a B for your coaching right now. Moving on, Sean McVay. I love Sean McVay. He is a really funny dude. He is a great dude to be around. He is a great coach, in my opinion. He obviously went to the Super Bowl with the Rams. He brought the Rams another playoff appearance this year. Puka Nacua obviously has developed these guys. So I am giving Sean McVay an A for this one, in my opinion. Moving on, you got Antonio Pierce. I'm going to give him a D. Obviously, it's the old Raiders coach right now, but I'm going to give him a D. I don't know what the dude can do right now. I saw him, obviously, we saw him go 3-3 in those 6 games that he was the interim, so I'm very interested to see what he's able to do. It's just I don't know enough about this guy, in my opinion, as well. So that's why I'm giving him a D. Moving on, you got Mike McDaniel. I'm giving him an A. I know a lot of people are hating on the guy. I find the guy really likable in my opinion. He does make a little bit of obnoxious jokes from time to time, but for me, I'm giving him an A. What he's been able to do with the offense for Miami has been astounding. Obviously, not being able to screw that up is very, very hard, but still brought him to the playoffs. Brought him to the playoffs last year, brought him this year, of course. They're probably going to go next year, so they're going to be good for years to come. That's why I've got him at an A. Moving on, you got Jerod Mayo. I know it's Bill Belichick, but I'm going to give Jerod Mayo a D. Again, I don't know I didn't even know who the guy was, in my opinion, first. I think that's enough to give him a D right there. Moving on, you got Saints, Dennis Allen. That guy gets a C. He is a freaking dumbass, in my opinion. By the way, I just got a Chris Olave in the back, and I will probably debut that when we do a Saints franchise. We're going to do franchises with rebuilds happening around the year, so stay tuned for that within the offseason as well. But Dennis Allen gets a D. He's a dumbass coach. He obviously can't develop Olave. He can't get Michael Thomas any reps. Derek Carr was mid this year. Their whole team was mid, so that's why I'm giving Dennis Allen a D, or a C rather. Moving on, you got Brian Daboll. I'm also going to give him a C just because of how they played this year. Of course, that's going to be my opinion. My opinion is they played really, really poorly. I know Daniel Jones being hurt and Saquon being hurt for half the year had a lot to do with that. But Brian Daboll still got to do his job, and I didn't really see any development at those two positions regardless of that. So I'm going to give him a C. Moving on, you got Robert Saleh. I'm actually going to give him a B. I really enjoyed watching the Hard Knocks with the New York Jets, in my opinion. I've come to really like Robert Saleh. But with that being said, what he's been able to do with Zach Wilson, managing the quarterback position and stuff like that, in my opinion, with Aaron Rodgers being hurt. And I think once Aaron Rodgers comes back, this coach is going to be really successful in the NFL. So give him a couple of years, and Robert Saleh is going to be really, really good. But for now, I got him at a B because of how this year went. Moving on, Nick Sirianni. I know that a lot of people were calling him a fluke, but I still give him an A at best. He was really, really good. What else do you want me to say about that? Moving on, Mike Tomlin. One of the greatest coaches to ever do it. I'm giving him an A. Never had a losing year, of course. Made the playoffs this past year. Didn't make it last year, but he's never had a losing season. One of the greatest coaches of all time. And what he was able to do with Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett at the quarterback positions was really impressive to me. I think that if you put him on a team like the Dallas Cowboys or like the Kansas City Chiefs or like the Baltimore Ravens, then Mike Tomlin will take that team to a Super Bowl if you give him time. Mike Tomlin on the Dallas Cowboys would fit perfectly within that organization. Obviously, they're not going to do it, but I would really enjoy that as well. Moving on, you got the Seahawks, and I'm going to put him at C. I don't really know who the guy is, to be honest. I mean, I've got my notes right here that I could look at, but other than that, I don't really know who this guy is. I'm interested to see what he's going to do with, obviously, Geno Smith, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. Pete Carroll should still be in Seattle. That's my personal opinion. But with that being said, the Seahawks coach gets a C because I don't even know who the heck it is. Moving on, Todd Bowles. He also gets a C. I know they won the division this year, but again, they went 9-8, and they also went 9-8, I believe, last year with Tom Brady at the quarterback position. This coach is kind of the equivalent to Dennis Allen, in my opinion. The NFC South's really got some mid-tier teams, but overall, in my opinion, Todd Bowles gets a C at best for me. Moving on, obviously, you got the new Tennessee Titans coach. I'm going to give him a B. I like the guy. He was the old Bengals offensive coordinator. I'm really excited to see what he's going to do with Tennessee's offense, what he can develop Will Levis into. Also, what he can get D-Hop and Will Levis, that connection, in my opinion, is going to be really, really cool to watch. So I'm going to give him a B. I think this was a great hire by the Tennessee Titans. Moving on, you got Dan Quinn, a D in my opinion. Obviously, he brought the Falcons to a Super Bowl. But, of course, that being said, he still should not be a Washington Commanders head coach, in my opinion. That's just me on that one. He should still be a Dallas Cowboy as a defensive coordinator. He was fine at that position. I just don't see him as a head coach for me. Moving on, Kyle Shanahan. He gets an S, obviously. I think that's enough said. One of the greatest rosters to ever play in the NFL. Obviously, one of the best teams to ever do it. So he gets an A, bringing the 49ers to a Super Bowl this year as well. Moving on, DeMeco Ryans. He gets an A. I love DeMeco Ryans. What he was able to do with, of course, C.J. Stroud, Nico Collins, Will Anderson Jr., Those three really good. Dalton Schultz was on that team. What he was able to do with that team, take them to the playoffs, develop CJ Stroud into what he is now, is enough for me to give him an A, and of course making it to the playoffs. Moving on, you got a guy who I am not sure about who this is, so I'm just going to pass on him. He, in my opinion, gets a D, but Kevin Stefanski is the last one, and that, in my opinion, is a B. Obviously, what he did, of course, Kirk Cousins being hurt, it's not his fault. Justin Jefferson being hurt, it's not his fault. He's a really good coach, and if they find ways to win, they are going to be really, really good. But yeah, that is my ranking of every NFL tight end. Anyway, that's going to be all for me ranking every NFL head coach. Let me know, of course, what you thought of it in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn this bell on as we do our best to post on this channel every single day. It's game day for the U.S. women's national team, not the men's. That's why I'm wearing this. They're taking on Mexico in the Gold Cup. It's always worth the jersey wear when any U.S. team is playing Mexico. That rivalry is a really good soccer rivalry, so therefore it deserves a jersey worn today. But anyway, I'm going to hop off, get this edited. You guys can watch it on time. Have a fantastic rest of your Monday, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.